Frequency 1138 is all clear and clanker free. This is Clone Army Radio.
What is up, Clone Army? We are back again, and this is our very first ever Mandalorian Aftershow. As per usual, I am Fives. As per usual, he is Fours.
Fours live.
Fours life. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Looking forward to talking some Mandalorian here.
Heck yes. Episode 2. So just to get it out in the open, obviously, this is a heavy spoiler episode. We're going to be discussing the second episode of Season 2, which is the very newest episode of The Mandalorian.
Spoiler alert.
Admiral Yet.
But before we get started, Fours, we got an email.
What? All right.
Remember last week you were like, hey, even if we're wrong.
Yeah, even if we're wrong, you should let us know so we can, make sure we're saying the right stuff out here.
Right. Well, someone calling themselves Chewie's Girl sent us an email. What's
Great
up,
name.
Chewie's Girl? Thank you for listening. How cool is that? So in our trivia question last week, we only did one trivia because we're trying to keep this, more Mandalorian focused. I had said that I've never heard anybody call Luke Skywalker Sir Luke, right?
Right.
And I think you agreed, right? We've never heard that.
It's hard to remember everything, but sure.
Right. So in Star Wars, aka A New Hope, C-3PO apparently calls him Sir Luke. And,
Sir Luke.
Yeah, when he's getting his oil bath. So I thought we would play that really quick and listen to ourselves being corrected by Chewie's Girl.
We stand corrected, and we appreciate that.
Right? Absolutely appreciate that. So we should be right around that part. So here we go.
You can call me Luke.
I see, Sir Luke.
Ah,
Not just Luke.
Oh. And I am C-3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations. And this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
Hello. so there it is, man.
that's good. Good catch, Chewie's Girl. Nice work.
Right? And
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for correcting us. And look at that. What did you said a couple weeks ago, is that we would mention people if they email us, and there we are.
There you go. We're men of our word, just like the Mandalorian.
Nice. I was just gonna say that. Perfect.
Because we share the same brain.
Apparently. All right. So, Fours, you had mentioned just before we started that there was a news bit or something going on.
There is a bit of news that I think it's really relevant to right now. So, this article, I haven't heard anything else, but this article on the playlist.net, the title of the article says, Lucasfilm reportedly making a Boba Fett miniseries that may shoot as soon as next week. That's dated today at 10:44 a.m. The news.
Wow, as soon as next week, huh?
Yeah. So they must have kept this under wraps. If it's starting to shoot next week, they should have done some production on this as far as a year ago, maybe, to get all the ducks in a row.
Yeah,
So I don't
really.
know. I don't know how this didn't leak. So I don't know how true this is, but it's a .net. It's not a .com,
Mm.
and there could be some. Could be some truth to this. You never
Okay.
know. Disney is trying to capitalize on their, on the Mandalorian, on the popularity of the Mandalorian, and trying to put more stuff on streaming. It makes sense. It's a great idea. I love it. I'd want to see more.
Well, and they had originally, I think even before the Disney purchase, they were working on some Boba Fett series. I think that live action series that George Lucas wrote, like 55. I don't know if he wrote the whole script, but I think it was like 55 episodes.
Oh wow!
I thought it was all supposed to be based on, you know, the underbelly of Coruscant and Boba Fett and all that stuff. If my memory is serving me well, which sometimes it doesn't, you know, like the Sir Luke thing. But also, you know, they were going to do a Boba Fett film before they decided to change their whole movie outlook. And
Right.
so you know, maybe like they're doing with the Kenobi series, maybe they're going to do a Boba Fett one.
Right. Chop it up, add some more bits, get 9 episodes out of it. And, yeah, so this is news to me. I mean, this just came out of nowhere. But, you know, he didn't make, you know, the actor, what's his name?
Tamura Morrison.
Tamura Morrison, right. He made his appearance last week. So this is good timing to release the news. It's not an official Star Wars like news site, but
Right.
you know, it's still something.
Right on, man. It wouldn't surprise me if they were doing it. It just seems a little interesting that it would be shooting next week. Like you said,
Yeah.
they had to have been planning it. Well, but they were planning a film, so who knows?
Right. Yeah, they say, according to the article, it says they could shoot anywhere between starting next week and December. So there you go.
So, The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 2, or Chapter 10. I like how they do chapters. That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
My initial thoughts on this episode.
Spoiler alert.
Admiral Yet.
Bear with me here. I felt like it was a filler episode.
Oh, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, it. You know, I felt like as much as I loved the first episode, Chapter 9 of the season, you know, that didn't really lead to much in the story, like the bigger story, the bigger picture.
Right.
And this one really didn't, as far as I'm concerned. It just it didn't move the story forward, in my opinion. And it felt an awful lot like Season 1, Episode 2, because you're seeing Mando having to repair his ship that has been, well, you know, in that episode, the Jawas had stripped it down, but in this one, other things went down. And I'm like, okay, you know, and it even starts out similar to the second episode of the first season, where he's walking back after getting Baby Yoda and gets attacked by those the one you always ask, the Trandoshans.
Trandoshan, yeah.
Yeah, and this episode seems very similar, you know, riding the speeder bike and it gets tripwired or whatever, and he gets attacked by some bounty hunters. I
was going to ask you, do you think those were bounty hunters or just like regular like scum and villainy that you know, hang out in Mos Eisley?
Probably, I would say yes to both of those. The thing that led me to believe they were bounty hunters is because one of them says get the child or get the kid. If they were just, you know, random scum and villainy, they wouldn't have known anything about the child, you know, unless they're like slavers or something, which I didn't get that vibe.
Right. I didn't see any of those little transmitters or anything, so.
Right. Yeah, the trackers or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do they call those? The fobs? Did they call them fobs?
I don't remember.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something to go back and check, you know, see if there's anything that's revealed there that we may have missed in one watch.
The only reason I ask is because if they're bounty hunters, then they're still like being hunted, and you know they got to stay on the move, just like he kind of says to Amy Sedaris' character. What's their name?
Pele.
Pellet Moto. So he's like, that's the only reason, like moving fast is the only reason, like, we're still alive.
Right.
And so that means that would make sense. But if it was just like a random attack by some random bad guys, it just doesn't carry as much weight, I guess, for the story.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah. It just seemed like they were, with them setting up a trap and stuff, they had to have known he was coming, which I guess you could just stand on a sand dune and use binoculars to see him coming. But why would they?
But it seemed like a choke point. So maybe they were just waiting for anybody.
So they're like highwaymen.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible. I think it would probably make more sense if they, had the fobs and were tracking them. Because that's, a big thing of, like you said, why they're on the move so much. Yeah. Honestly, while watching this episode, I actually like picked up my phone a couple times and just kind of lost interest.
Oh, really?
First time ever since the Mandalorian's been around that I did that. I was just like, I don't know what's going on my phone. I just wasn't digging it. I wasn't into it. And, that being said, if it was like a standalone episode or if there were more episodes than just the 8 or 10 or whatever it's supposed to be this season, I probably would have felt better about it, because I thought that overall it was written really well. It was directed well. The visuals and sounds were everything we've come to expect from Star Wars. It just felt like an episode that we already watched for a lot of parts. Unlike the almost horror movie vibes that you get from those alien spiders, that was different. That was cool. I liked it. I liked the suspense. But I don't know. I mean, if I had to grade this episode for me, my personal opinion, I would give it like a C.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just because it felt like I've been there, done that, not progressing the story. That's all. With short seasons, like we've talked about, when you have a short season, there's not really any filler, and this felt like filler to me.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
This is weird because, like, I totally like this episode.
Really?
I would give it, if I was giving it a grade, I would give it like a B plus. Yeah, and I saw it.
Wow.
I saw it twice already. I liked it better the second time.
See, I've only watched it once, so
yeah. And then, I really liked the episode. I was totally like, from start to finish, it was like action packed, man. It was like you couldn't breathe. There was just always, there was like little bits where he was like walking into town, okay, but like you just felt like something was, be it him and the child, something was like in danger the whole time. The eggs, there was,
right.
and I just bought it all, dude. I just bought all of it. Like, that something was, if something was like in danger at all times during this film, during this episode, and it just worked for me. And I know some of it was like a little like, I didn't notice it the second time, but the first time I noticed like all the fade to blacks and all the being knocked out and fade to whites and the passing of time and everything. That was this little disturbing. It took me out of it, but the second time I didn't even notice it. Like it just kind of all flowed real nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's something I forgot about, to be honest, was the fade to black. I'm like, why are we going to commercial? Like, what's going on here? It was very different from what I don't know if they've ever done that, have they?
I don't think so. Not this show. They do dissolve. They do like wipes, like in the original movie, where that's how they do their transitions, but not like straight up fade to blacks to fade to whites. So that's the director for you, determining that. So, and the editor. So I don't know. Like I said, the second time I didn't notice it. So it must not have been a huge thing. I'm a little creeped out by two things. One, the spiders kind of creeped me out. Not that I'm afraid of spiders, but just like there were so many.
Oh yeah.
And they were just coming at him as nuts. And And then the other thing was I was kind of disturbed a little bit by Baby Yoda's his behavior is kind of different in this episode, and he's not like a nice guy. He's not like a nice little cute little thing. He is a cute little thing, but he's not doing cute little things. He's doing really kid things. And I have a kid, and I know what it's like when your child is not listening to you, and it's like, you know what I mean? And it's just doing what it wants, and it's just motivated by his stomach. And I'm not creeped out about that, but just like, I don't think he understood that those were the last of the frog lady's kind. Or we come to find out, I the second time I watched it with the captions on, and she talks about her family lineage is at stake. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's necessarily her species. It's just her
family.
Her family line is at stake. Which I thought at first, the first time I watched it, I thought it was like her whole species, and I'm like, wow. And then here comes Baby Yoda, like popping the eggs in like they're Tic Tacs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like stop.
Right, but you see, like later on, after he has been told no a few times, he almost looks guilty that he's eating it, but he's still eating them.
Yeah,
like he's like, I know this is wrong, but it's so good.
That's totally little kid behavior, right. Which before, like, he was almost like a little wise guy, like wise being, you know what I mean, and smart. Like, this was like the first time where he's like acted like a child, and I was like, it's totally different. I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a little, but I'm still a little disturbed by his behavior because, like, he's so like relentless, and then he eats the other's creature. You know what I mean? The alien spider. Right. He's so about his stomach. And then when Din gives him actual food, he doesn't even eat it.
So we kind of that takes me at least back to Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back, going through Luke's little lunchbox basically, and he's like,
exactly,
and starts like eating whatever. Just maybe that's just part of that species. I mean, I think Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back was just testing Luke, testing his patience, but maybe at the same time, that's their instinct is to just eat. They need food.
That's a great point. Yeah, I think so, because she just won't give up on those eggs, no matter. He even tries to get them when they're in the tub. I'm fast forwarding to a lot, but like, so that, that whole stuff with that kind of, I was totally into it. About his childlike behavior. It's a different side of his personality that we got to see. He makes noises and he runs around like a little kid and stuff like that. I thought the frog lady did a good and bad job of being a mom.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I have to question her parenting skills a little bit, but like at some points she was like totally protective. Mm-hmm. But then at other points there was like she didn't even notice the danger.
Yeah, like leaving the canister back in the back of the ship while she was in the cockpit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not very. I don't know. I'm not a parent, I guess. I mean, I kind of am, but not like my own flesh and blood. So like, it's hard for me to say, like, I can't really judge what other parents do, but to me, it felt wrong.
Okay, yeah. So you caught that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your parental instincts at work there, and so it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit because you have to watch them all the time.
Right.
That's the relentless job of being a parent, is like you have to keep an eye on them because they're attracted to danger, or danger's attracted to them, like one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to be a hawk and just like watch them all the time around everything, around everybody. And then, she already kind of like he looked at the jar and he's like, whoa, eggs, like those look so good. I don't know. But maybe we didn't see that until after she was alone with them. Yeah. So, and Din does a little bit of like leaving Yoda, Baby Yoda, alone too. So he's not innocent in this episode.
Right. I mean, in his defense, though, he's learning.
He's learning. Yeah, he's definitely learning.
Which that's something I can actually relate to. You know,
right?
Not having children in your life, and then having a teenager. It's not easy. So it's not an easy adjustment. So I can see that side of it.
Yeah, it's not, and it's like I said, it's ramping up from like only having to worry about yourself to like yourself and another being, and everything that being is doing. That's parenting. That's like learning how to watch out for everybody and everything, and that other small little person that can't watch out for itself, and you're responsible for everything that little person does too. So
I just wanted to touch on the whole parental part of it at the beginning of the episode. Towards the early part of the episode, when the bounty hunters or whatever, or the remaining bounty hunter has Baby Yoda, and you hear Mando's reactions to that, like, just don't hurt the kid. He was Pedro Pascal, man. It's awesome because he did a remarkable job there, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I was in there with him at that point. I'm like, God, don't hurt the kid, like here, what do you want? Take Boba Fett's armor, just leave me the kid. And he was, so in that aspect, you see that he's grown quite a bit. He's attached. It's not just a job anymore. He actually cares about Baby Yoda. Which I think he did pretty early on in the series anyways, but you're just hearing it and feeling it and seeing it more now.
Right.
And then, just because it's a note I made, that same part after, he gives the bounty hunter the jetpack and launches him up into the air. And he looks down at Baby Yoda. Well, first he picks up Baby Yoda, I think, and asks him if he's all right, which I thought was really touching. I liked that. Right. But then he just kind of shrugs at Baby Yoda, like, what else was I going to do? I wasn't going to let him get away with trying to steal you. Exactly. And that's also a parental thing. I mean, I won't go into details, but I had a situation with, I will just say like stepchild, that I get that, I care about this kid, and I did what I had to do to protect him. And, that's what you do.
That's what you do. Yeah. You got to do. You got to sacrifice. And, I mean, you got to make hard choices. Where, Frog Lady, she kind of gets it, because she pushes Mando to make some moves. You don't just sit still. So we see that later on. Some other thoughts I had. This is the first time I figured out what the Razor Crest, right? It's the first time I watched it, and I'm like, it just snapped it just caught me. Like, the Razor Crest totally reminds me of Lone Star's Winnebago from Spaceballs. There was just certain angles that I finally saw the Razor Crest at, and it was just like, that's the same shot from Spaceballs, and it looks just like it, because it's just like the engines are right there, right in the same spots as the Winnebago. So,
gosh, that's wow.
I know it took me
want the toy even more now.
I know there's not a Winnebago toy out there.
Gosh, dude, yeah, it totally resembles it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it does. And it was awesome to see the X-wings again.
Oh yeah,
and the pilots were good people. I thought they were reasonable, and they could not be bought. They weren't looking for ransom money or any kind of like, bribes or anything. Like, they were just genuinely looking for the Empire and not really concerned about anything else. Jump to the end. But I thought that was good to see, that the New Republic is not a bunch of strong arm tactic people. They're stick to their moral high ground, and I like it. My last point was, I don't know if we've seen the New Republic yet.
Just what in the prison ship we saw, like a New Republic. worker.
Okay.
The guy that Matt Lanter played, who I think we talked about that's the voice actor for Anakin in the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But yeah, I wanted to touch on the X-wings, the space cops, if you will.
Yes, totally space cops.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Good.
Of course, Dave Filoni flying an X-wing again was really cool.
Oh, you caught that?
Yeah, I love that guy. So, they're basically they're trying to pull him over, and he's, Mando's like, well, crap, I can't let them pull me over, and he knows that. What did they call it? Ping us your.
Just ping. Just send us a ping.
Yeah, and he knows that if he does that, then that's gonna, tell everybody where he is, which leads to being tracked.
Right.
So he's trying to avoid them, and they're flying through those clouds into the into that planet, and you hear the space cops like, come on, man, don't make us do this. We will shoot you down. And
right.
I thought that was really cool because that's very space copish, right?
Yeah.
These guys are good guys. They don't want to shoot him down, but if they have to, he's fleeing.
Right.
He's fleeing the law, basically.
He's a runner.
Yeah, so they got to do what they got to do, and I thought that was really cool. I really liked. I mean, for one, seeing X-wings, I'm always excited.
Yeah, and they look great. They looked like film, just like the ones in the film. They worked just like the ones in the film. There wasn't anything that was different inside the cockpit. Looked great. Everything was right on the money with them.
Absolutely. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that really quick. So we got this episode where we didn't really even kind of touch on the plan here. He goes back to Mos Eisley, right? Talks to Ellie and the ant guy. I wanted to ask you, has that guy been in Star Wars? He looked really familiar, that character, that alien.
Dr. Mandible?
Yeah, has he been in a scene before?
Yeah, he was in actually last year's or season 1, I believe episode 5, The Gunslinger. Him and the frog lady were at a table together in the cantina before.
Really?
So yeah, I don't know if you caught that, but that's why he might have seemed a little bit familiar.
Okay. All right. So Dr. What is it? Dr. Mandible?
Dr. Mandible, correct.
All right. Dr. Mandible has an idea of where some Mandalorians might be, and we are introduced to the passenger, the name of the episode, the frog lady.
Right.
And as long as she gets passage to, I think it's the same location, right? Where she needs to go is where her husband has seen Mandalorians.
Correct. Trask, was it?
Is that what it was? I was trying so hard to remember it, and I didn't want to use my phone.
Yeah. Planet of Trask. I got it here, yeah.
I used my fellow host instead. So yeah, they're on their way to Trask, which doesn't happen because the space cops try to pull over Mandalorian, and he crashes onto just an ice planet. I doubt it's Hoth.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think it's Hoth?
No, I think if it was going to be Hoth, they would have. You know how Jon Favreau is. He would have been like billboard somehow. This is Hoth. We are on Hoth right now. Kind of like how they, announced that they're going to Tatooine. I think it would be more like that.
Right.
And then my other thought was, and the name of that planet is escaping me at the moment. The one that the kyber crystals are on, that the Jedi, the young Padawans go to.
I just saw that episode too. Yeah.
Did you? Oh, good.
Yeah, that was good.
I really liked that.
Those were good episodes, man. I love those things. You seen the younglings and trying to get their the kyber crystals. That was good stuff.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't spoil that for you. I'm glad you saw it already.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find Ilum, or Ilum is the name of the planet. I thought maybe it could be Ilum, but again, It was more like just a stop, stop for some space bucks and gas kind of a situation there. It didn't feel like the planet was really anything important.
Right. Maybe it's supposed to like give us some Hoth vibes or whatnot, So
Right.
I mean that's the only ice planet that, non-casual casual fans would know. So I immediately thought it was Hoth, so
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely got the vibe of Hoth, but like I said, I think that if they were going to Hoth, we would know for sure. Like, no questions.
for fan service reasons. Yeah.
right.
Probably right.
So,
Maybe we would have seen a Wampa or something.
yeah, that would have been wild.
Yeah.
That would see now you say that, and if we would have seen that in this episode, I probably would have been like, okay, this is kind of silly, just because of everything that we got in the first episode. This was a different take, and I'm not one of those people that was complaining about the Easter eggs in the first episode. I loved every single one of them. I thought it was great, but this was a little different. There weren't really any that I picked up on.
There was maybe when Pilimoto says "Stop your rust, stop your crying, you'll rust" is like a Wizard of Oz reference.
Oh, nice.
for the Tin Man, that was, and then obviously the X-wings, but I mean that's not really an Easter egg. That's plot point,
Right?
Maybe in the cantina, maybe there was a few aliens that were, it can seem a little bit more populated. So.
Oh yeah, way more populated than last year when we saw the cantina. Which I thought was cool. I honestly I was hoping we were going to see the cantina band, Figure Dan.
Figure Dan, yeah.
Been like, yes.
That would have been cool.
Also, that's okay that we didn't. I'm not upset about it. So then they, he crash lands, and that's not the only crash because they fall through the the flooring or whatever you want to call it, the snow and ice, and that's when the stuff hits the fan. The ship is pretty much in ruins, and Mando takes a nap, which I really liked too. Baby Yoda goes and curls up next to Mando while he's taking his nap, and I'm like, these two are really showing like a father and child.
Sure. Yes.
I like that. It's so, I know I started out saying my feelings about this episode, but there are still a lot of things I liked about it. I'm not gonna, sit here and poop on it.
Good. Because
there's a lot of things I enjoy. So fours.
Yep.
Was life. So what happens while Mando's looking for the frog lady after she bails while he's napping? What goes on, man? I've been talking too much.
Oh, we're on the planet, and he's fallen. He's knocked out, right?
Oh, is he knocked out? See, I thought he fell asleep.
Yeah, he got knocked out when they fell onto through the hole.
Oh, yeah, so I totally missed that part.
So he woke up. Frog lady's there on the ground, and then he kind of wakes her up a little bit. He says, "I want to get you some blankets." Then he goes downstairs, and then he catches Baby Yoda in that jar.
Hand in the cookie jar.
Hand in the cookie jar. Uh-oh. How many of these you been eating? And he's got it all over his mouth. He's like, I don't know.
Right. Total kid.
Like, no more. That's funny. Like, how many are in there? Because I mean, he must have know how many he took out of there. How many? But it plays for laughs, every time he's doing it. But like, it's kind of like, not disturbing and not that level, but like, it's still a little, it's not sad, but because I mean, these are the last of this creature's, offspring, and it's kind of having us, and I understand, what it is, survival of the fittest,
right,
type of thing, so Baby Yoda's obviously set up to succeed in this food chain. So, what can you do? It's nature, I guess. So, you can't. Do you blame him? He's just following his instincts, like you said. He's hungry. He sees food and he wants to eat it.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. He's eating somebody's offspring, so it's a little odd.
Yeah. And then he says, "No more." Yeah, he goes. He catches his hand in the cookie jar. And he goes, "No more," with his finger.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, they can't speak. You can't speak the language, but hopefully, with that gesture, the Baby Yoda knows that he's doing something wrong.
But he still does it a few more times.
Yeah. So then they go back up, or no, the frog lady comes down, right? And then they find that they take another nap.
Yeah. Well, he
And-
says, we should get some rest because I forget something along the lines of, it's going to get harsh out there tonight or whatever.
Right. And then the frog lady sees that droid sitting there on the wall, and then she, while Mando and the baby the child or Baby Yoda are sleeping, she kind of rigs it up to use it as her communicator, which is really cool, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
And then
Activating its, protocol droid functions.
Yeah, so she uses she kind of pushes Mando's buttons, talking about a Mandalorian, and when they give their word, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they follow through. And she says that her and her husband, fought for a chance to live in a hospitable planet, and that the last of her lineage, family lineage, and she wants a chance. She's trying to fight for her right to live and her offspring, and she's being, I think, a good parent at that point, because I think she's pointing at the jar, and the jar is saying that it's getting too cold.
Yes.
Because she puts the blanket over it. So Mando's like, "All right, let me get my tools," and he goes outside to go fix the house. Fix the Razor Crest.
Right.
Because he's getting nagged. Anyways. And then while that happens, we see the baby Yoda come out after a while. And then he's like kind of pointing and like catches Mando's attention. And he's like, "What's going on, Lassie? Little Timmy falls, did he fall in the well again?"
Nice.
And then we find out that the frog lady's taking a bath in the hot springs there, and she's got all her eggs out, which now she's being not such a great parent.
You didn't think so?
No. She's warming up the eggs, but
yeah,
the danger was right there,
Oh, well, in her defense, it didn't look like anything. It just looked like frozen something.
Stalactites or stalagmites.
Yeah. Because to me, it didn't look like eggs or anything until Baby Yoda did his thing. No, and I was still stuck on it maybe being Ilum, and the drama of Baby Yoda walking up to one of those egg sacs. I was thinking maybe he was going to find a kyber crystal in there since he is force sensitive.
Oh.
And I'm like, is he finding his lightsaber crystal? Like, that's where my mind was. And then all of a sudden he rips it open and eats a creepy looking baby spider. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is not Ilum then.
Yeah, to me, it looked exactly like the Alien movies because all the eggs were kind of like all pointing up, all the pods or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but everything seemed like an Alien movie. I go, okay, so those are eggs, and something's gonna come out of them. And then he goes over to it and he opens it up, and it opens up even just like the Alien's egg opens up, and the spider even has like the same color as those face huggers, and then he eats it. And I'm like, oh my god, is this like kind of like a little nod from Star Wars, and that Star Wars is like eating alien or aliens. Because I don't know if you know this, but James Cameron and George Lucas are not rivals, but have like a friendly thing going. So I don't know if it's like that kind of thing, because it's so on the money as far as Alien is concerned, or Aliens.
Yeah. I mean, thinking back and hearing you describe it, yeah, I agree. But while I was in the episode, I was somewhere else. I thought, like I said, I was thinking he was Ilum, and this, he's a force sensitive. He's finding a kyber crystal. Like, that's where I was, and then, seeing, like, I just repeating what I said. Seeing the egg open, or the pod open, or whatever, and all of a sudden you see all of these spiders start hatching, and I'm like, okay, so you're seeing a couple, not a couple, you're seeing a bunch of little ones, and then you're seeing a little bit bigger, and I'm like, okay, there's gonna be the mom. Where's the, it took this part took me to like Lord of the Rings.
Totally took me to Lord of the Rings too.
Okay,
right on the money. Yeah.
and so I was, and I'm not talking negatively about it or anything. I'm just saying I was expecting at that point to see like the mother spider, and I knew that stuff was going to hit the fan, and it did. It was action packed. This I did not check out. I was like locked on. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is intense. and I'm like, how is Mando going to get, how's Din going to get out of this? I mean, I knew he would, because he's a Mandalorian and he's BA, but this looked a little too much for him, and not to jump super far to the end, but it was actually a little too much for him.
It was. He was finally something that was like something that got him. And he's usually on top of everything. He's usually the top dog and everything. Like he handled those kind of bounty hunters, just call them bounty hunters, the villainy. He handled those guys no problem.
Right.
Those guys had nothing. He was top dog. He was top of the food chain on that spot. But like here, he was overwhelmed by the numbers, and all I could think about was like, get back to the ship. And I thought that Frog Lady was a goner, dude. I really think I thought she was done. Like, I thought her time in the story was done, because I mean, she was in the water, but then like she licked her clothes on or something.
That was super cool, man. Like, all of a sudden you see the tongue go whoosh. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. She put on her clothes, and she was jumping like a frog out of there so fast. Kudos to her to to get out of there and get a move on, because he was right. He couldn't protect her where she was at, and that's the part where I was like kind of talking about her not being so great. Is she had no protection out there with her eggs. Gotcha. She was exposed. And then so I misspoke. As they're collecting the eggs in the water, that's when he does the finger trick to them. That's when he does the no finger, no with his finger. That's when he says it.
Oh, it was that part?
Yeah, it was that part when they're collecting the eggs in the water and putting them back in the jar.
Oh, right. Yeah. His ears go down a little bit, I think.
It's like, okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Dude, and then that huge spider, man. Oh my gosh. That thing was scary looking, man. That thing was genuinely scary looking in a TV show. This is more like I think we've talked about this, like, they can't go anywhere without a huge monster coming after them.
Right.
You can't even be in outer space, like we were saying with Solo. And with huge teeth, just like coming to kill him.
Oh, that reminds me too. Since we were texting the other day about the Clone Wars and the Umbara episodes,
right?
I forgot to text you about. There was also a big beast out there that was taking them out. Remember, they used it to capture General Krell.
Right, that thing on the ground that almost looked like it was like a cross between like an octopus and
a Venus flytrap.
Venus, yeah, and the thing from Tatooine that Boba Fett.
Oh, the Sarlacc.
Sarlacc, right. Yeah, Sarlacc.
Right. Yeah, totally, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. I think one of our new things is going to have to be the line from Qui-Gon saying, "There's always a bigger fish."
Always a bigger fish, because man, they can't go anywhere for like 5 minutes without some huge monster coming after them. even in the water, outer space, in a cave. I mean, look at Luke going into a cave, or being out, just being out in the snow. There's a
Right.
big old monster coming after him.
Yeah.
The Wampa's there. Little side note: I read an article on Yahoo Entertainment that spider was supposed to be in the Empire Strikes Back in the Dagobah scene.
Was another Macquarie concept, I believe. The spider.
Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
The concept art. So it definitely provides the chills, man. That thing, because that thing was massive. It was coming after him. It was scary. It was the teeth. It almost looked like it was like rotating, grinding thing.
Yeah.
So
And he thought he took it out, and it came back when he was trying to get the ship going.
total horror story, right?
Right.
Yeah. So like the one spider lands on the child's head, the one little spider, and starts to like poke at him and everything, and then the frog lady shoots the spider off of the baby Yoda's head. I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought that was really cool. And here's what's, I guess, kind of funny for me, at least, is I totally forgot the frog lady existed at that point. And I'm like, the sound of the blaster going off, I'm like, wait, did he actually crash land where the Mandalorians were? And, this was one of them helping him? That's where my mind went.
Oh.
And then the camera turns and it's her. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about her. Because like you were saying, you thought she was a goner, right? And
Yeah.
I thought maybe they just didn't show her get grabbed by a spider or something at that point. Because I don't remember her going in the ship. But thinking back now while I'm talking, I do remember her going in. I watched this right after work, so my brain's a little fuzzy.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool. She totally, even though Baby Yoda's been eating her offspring, she still
I know
protects him.
she still protects him. Like at that point, the food, she was the one to protect him, and that's the thing that gets me with the very end, and that's just Baby Yoda being Baby Yoda. Is he still eats he still eats that egg.
Dude, and credits to the people running. He's a puppet, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got to be.
Credits to them, because you could see expression on Baby Yoda's face, like he's just like a kid would. Well, I'm gonna take this last ice cream sandwich or something, and my parents aren't even gonna see it. Like that
Yeah.
look on his face. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's getting away with murder. Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
right. You're vicious, Baby Yoda. Vicious.
Yeah,
But still adorable.
at the same time. So yeah, so that huge spider comes through the roof. I'm like, okay, so how's it gonna get through that? And then, dude, like, I didn't even think about it. It totally sold me. Then when you hear the laser blast, I know it sounds so cliche that they get saved, but I was like, how are they going to get out of this for real? Like, and then here comes, it totally got me. The familiar laser blast. You can hear them shooting at the big spider, and I'm like, that sounds so familiar. That sound.
The X-wing blasts, man. I knew it was those guys because you could hear that freaking sound.
The sound, yeah, the sound was totally like, I've heard that before. And so the two guys are sitting there on top of their, X-wings shooting everything, do deadly aim too, with like crazy deadly aim.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mando comes out, and they talk about all the people that he's kind of like bounty hunter, hunted. And apparently there's a few that like he got that were on their wanted list. So Mando was like, am I under arrest? Like you were saying, like the cops,
Right. Well, now to touch on that, one, he comes out with his gun pointing at the space cops.
Right.
Like he wasn't sure. Yeah, they helped him, but were they going to let him go? And then the bounties that they're talking about are Bill Burr and from that episode. I can't remember his character's name. Was it like Caulfield or something? It's something like that. Bill Burr, and then the Twi'lek and the what was he?
Oh, the devil guy?
Devronian. Yeah, the Devronian. That's who they were bringing up. They had some kind of like camera footage or something, and they also, I think, mentioned that he tried to save the guard, Matt Lanter. I don't know the character's name. I just know the actor.
Oh, see,
so
I was wondering about all that, those names they were busting out, but I didn't know. That's
Okay.
great. It's all a callback to last season.
Right. And it, his basic revenge on those guys for, trapping him on the ship, and him not killing them paid off. It was like a karma thing. It got him out of being arrested.
Oh man. So was that what they were talking about with the Bothan 5? Is that what that was? There was because they earlier when they were trying to pull him over, they asked if that was the craft that was in the proximity of the New Republic Bothan 5. Is that is that the okay? Cool, dude. This makes it a little bit better for me, the episode, knowing that information.
Yeah.
It might have squeaked into A- here.
Nice. And see, that's what I was saying, when I gave my initial feelings on the episode, there is still a lot I liked. And I guess my biggest issue was that it didn't get him anywhere closer 2 episodes in, I guess, is my problem with the episode.
Because you want to see him get to the Mandalorians, or
well, at least like somewhere further, or see Moff Gideon like hunting for him or something. They haven't even touched on that yet. I know I sound like an entitled Star Wars fan, probably. I just want to see it all, man. I just want to see it all.
It's going to be a long season, man. 8. Let's pace yourself. Let's take it, one step at a time here. He's got to get off of Tatooine. I mean, that's where they picked up. He's still on Tatooine. Obviously, right. Boba Fett's not around, but he's got to move on to the next step. And he didn't have any leads, and this is his next step. And then when he finally lets the frog lady off to where she's got to go, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think it's leading to that. Like I said, I just wanted to see. It didn't have to be like a clan of Mandalorians or anything like that. I just wanted to see him get closer in some way. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I guess my feelings are mixed because I did enjoy a lot of the episode, but I just wanted something, I guess because at the end of the first episode, we see Boba Fett watching from a distance.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he was going to be like a stowaway on the Razor Crest, or I don't know. My brain starts going. I had a week to think about it. and then the passenger, the name of the episode, The Passenger, I'm like, okay, are we talking about something that, like a stowaway or something? And but I will say this, when they got on the Razor Crest, him and the Frog Lady and Baby Yoda, and I was thinking about the name of the episode, I was like, is this whole episode just going to be them on this ship, like along, because they weren't doing light speed,
right? They were doing.
Is this just going to be like is it going to be The Last Jedi, like this slow space trip? And I'm like, so that was relieving that it wasn't going there. I don't know.
Yeah, and when you run for the cops, it's always exciting,
Right. Right.
You never know what's gonna happen. So, once that happened, I'm like, okay, this went from like slow, sleepy, literally sleepy, time, taking a nap because there's nothing going on. And what do you call it? Sub speed, or
oh yeah, something along the lines of that.
Something like that. Substandard speed. I don't know. But sub light speed, I don't know. So he thought he was just going to have a sleepy time, but then here you go. You got the cops showing up, and which is another danger of not traveling light speed is running into people that you don't want to run into. So, what can you do?
All right, fours. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm changing my letter grade.
Oh, good.
I think but after talking to you about the episode, and you know what it does? It doesn't progress the story of him finding Mandalorians or Jedi or whatever, but what it does do is it shows how much the Mandalorian is becoming a parent, how Din Djarin is becoming a parent to Baby Yoda, and that's pretty freaking huge.
That's
as being a parent, how huge that is, and seeing this guy like the way he's, the way he is with Baby Yoda, and no, like pointing at him and saying no, like you brought up, and so yeah, I'm going to a B. From a C to a B, because
that'll work.
Because I think you convinced me that the story did go somewhere. It's just not the main plot story. I guess it is. It's like a subplot of him being a parent, a protector,
and falling in love with this child.
Right, and seeing the love that Baby Yoda has for him. Like I said, when he like snuggles up against him at nap time, and also remembering too the bunk. He's got like the little hammock for Baby Yoda above him where they sleep, and that was good stuff.
And it's making him a better person because he was actually looking out for the eggs too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Usually in these Disney stories, the parents are out of the picture, and the kids got to figure it all out.
Very
good point. But no, it's just parent being a good parent. At some points, he doesn't tell the frog lady that his kid's been eating her eggs, which maybe we'll see in the next episode when she starts actually counting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how has she not noticed even when they were all in the water with her?
I don't know.
Does she think they just vanished? I mean, she's gotta know, right?
Or she doesn't know how many eggs she has. Yeah, which was not great.
Yeah. I don't know how many kids I have. How many did I leave with?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I could see why he wouldn't want us. How do you say that? Hey, this little dude over here just ate some of your, like. He's probably just like, I'll just hope she doesn't notice, and we get out of here, and we're all safe.
You don't want to go there, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My kid ate your kid. That's not a good.
Your kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not even just one.
My last thing was, the the pilots were like, Carlson and Wolf were like, fix your transponder. These are trying times.
Right.
They don't want to have that problem in the future. So that was pretty cool. They weren't bribed or anything. Mando tried to bribe them with the bounties, and they didn't budge. They were like, we're not about that. We're about a new era coming.
Very cool. They were very loyal to the law, loyal to the New Republic, and but also appreciative of his work. That's why they let him go. But they weren't gonna help him fix his ship. They're like, you're on your own there, man.
Fix your transponder. So yeah, then he eats that last egg. I don't know where he gets that egg from. He must have been hiding it, but
saving it for later, probably.
He gets that last little Michael Jackson with the eyes and Thriller part.
Nice. Good stuff, man. All right, so I think we pretty much covered the episode. You convinced me that it wasn't as bad as I initially thought,
and you convinced me that it's better than I thought.
Wow. Now, see, that's kind of impressive.
It definitely gives this episode for me an A, because I was in it, and all the lessons of the nods to parenting and how hard it is. So
it's very cool. All right. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, looked like you froze for a second. Nice. So again, a quick shout out to Chewy's girl for correcting us.
Oh, right.
Thank you, Chewy's girl. Listeners, as you can see, we can handle being corrected. So if we do something wrong, call us out. If we do something right, say what's up. Whatever you want to do. Well, we'd be happy to talk to you guys. And in all honesty, email us next Friday during the afternoon, Eastern time, mid-afternoon, and maybe we'll read the email while we're talking about next week's episode, and we'll read your email while we're recording.
Yeah, please. We'd like to communicate with our fan base, because we know you're out there.
Yeah, we do. We're watching you. Not really, but we know you're there.
Say what's up.
Cool. As usual, as per usual, you guys can find us on all the popular podcast apps, and I think we'll be on Amazon very soon whenever they launch that. Thank you for listening. Oh, and mentioning the email, clonearmyradio@gmail.com. Hit us up. Fours. It was a good talk.
Yeah, very good talk.
I like doing it this way where we didn't have any chance to communicate beforehand.
Right. So thank you for switching up the times and the dates. It definitely I was looking forward to this all day. I'm going to admit it.
Awesome. Me too, man. It was cool. I really wanted to know what you thought about it, but I didn't want to, I think I texted you this morning after I watched it because I knew you'd be up, and I just asked if you had watched it, I think, or told you I watched it. I didn't want to know anything else, but I did. Like, what did he think? Very cool. I had a good time, and Clone Army, we will catch you again next Friday. Peace out.
Peace.
I almost hung up the phone instead of stopping the record.
What you do? Turn off the wall. Turn off the whole movie.
We'll turn it back on.
Do it. Admiral Piet.